Hey, business building warrior, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. I'm your opening host for today. Before we jump into the primary content, just a couple things to go over with you. You've probably heard by now, if you listen to our show regularly, that we just had our live event where over 600 business building warriors from around the world gathered in Columbus, Ohio. It was phenomenal. Over 40 breakout sessions. Hey, get this, our next one is already scheduled. Get over to theprovenconference.com. Keep your eye out there for details, or just keep listening to this podcast. Get on our mailing list at silentjimdotcom. We'll give you updates on that soon. But today's episode is some of the golden nuggets that Brian and Robin Joy, two of the great coaching team leaders on our coaching team, that they took away from our event. I love the theme of this episode today. They hit on several really incredible nuggets that I wasn't even exposed to. Because keep in mind, we had 40 breakout sessions at this event, and I was only able to attend a handful myself. I presented in a few. That's a lot of sessions over 3 days. So none of us have quite absorbed the entire event yet, but they were able to jump into several of the sessions. They made some notes and took away their WPAs, which are those little points in time, those little lessons, those little tips that were totally worth the price of admission, even if they hadn't attended any of the rest of the event. That's pretty cool to walk away from an event with a big old list of WPAs, worth the price of admission. I'll let them dive into that here in a moment, but I'll just give you a few that stood out to me. I'll let them explain. And then I've got one other announcement for you. We'll jump into the content. Pay attention today to the importance of understanding your numbers from an ROI standpoint, because so often, I think as Amazon sellers, we look at low ROI or low margin and we kind of think, oh man, I didn't make as much money as I was hoping to. Well, when you play that out over a year, when you roll your money over 5, 10 times in a single year, and you're getting those potentially what seems like low returns, that's still an amazingly profitable business, as illustrated by, now they don't tell this story, but I'll remind you, one of our podcast episodes recently was with a chiropractor who started with $200. That's all he was going to put into his Amazon business. That included covering all of his expenses for the course, the Proven Amazon course, for his inventory, for his materials, for his tools, everything less than $200. And he was determined not to spend another penny. And he didn't. That 200 soon rolled into enough money where he paid for coaching with our team, loved it, had a great experience. Soon he was paying off tens of thousands of dollars of student debt, having never used any additional outside funds than those original $200. And it ramped up very quickly. Why? Because he was turning his money over fast. So listen for that segment when Brian and Robin Joy talk about that. Make sure you understand the true power of these numbers. I've had people who sell real estate for a living and flip houses say there's nothing that compares to the power of rolling your money over in a replens, Amazon replens model where you're just flipping fast and your pile of cash is growing rapidly because you're reinvesting it back into inventory that you know, worst case scenario is going to break even. Best case, you're going to make a nice profit once you understand the system. So listen for that. I also love where they talk about diversifying your income strategies and multiple income streams, their perspective on that. Make sure you're not bouncing around doing 15 things at the same time. No, focus, bolt one idea down at a time. They talk about that. They talk about how to use free money with a creative strategy with your credit cards. You're going to enjoy that. You can get free money. If you use a handful of credit cards and just pay them all off on time, you can really get your hands on quite a bit of funding for your Amazon inventory. A very creative discussion there. And before I turn the microphone over, I want to make sure that you remember and mark on your calendar September. It's mid-September, the 15th and 16th is the dates. We've got a small workshop that we're doing. I say small, it's going to be 25 or 30 people, and we're capping it off there. This may be full by the time you hear this, and I apologize if that's the case. But as of today, as I'm recording this, we do have a handful of spaces left. It's how to go from just a handful of successful inventory replens, or maybe you don't have any yet, and you want to get up to 100 replens. Because at the point where you get to 100 items that you're successfully selling on a repeat basis, that's a real business. That's a legit, robust business. But we want to help you accomplish that in just a couple days by gathering together with other serious business building warriors from our community. Brian and Robin Joy, who you're about to hear from, will be hosting this event at the coaching offices for Jim Cockrum Coaching, which are located in Utah. We're all going to gather there. I'm going to be there. Nathan, our coaching director, will be there. So many people from our team. And we're just going to plow through 2 intense days, helping you find 100 great replen ASINs, breaking it all down. We're going to do it right there in-house. You're going to see our operation. Come out and join us. Get details by going to provenamazoncourse.com/100. That's 100, the 3-digit number. You can get the show notes with all the links, everything we talk about, by going to silentjim.com. Look up today's podcast episode. You'll see all the links, all the information. One last little thing before I turn it over to Brian and Rob and Joy for the day. Hey, if you want a free copy of my latest book, Silent Sales Machine is the book that launched this podcast, same book title as the podcast. Well, that book is in its 11th update now. It's been updated that many times. Over 1 million people have read it at this point. It's been the flagship book of this community for a long time. I've been doing this 20 years, guys. Hey, if you want a free copy, all you have to do is text the word free, FREE, text that word to this phone number, 507-800-0090. We'll send you a free copy. You can enjoy it. No other obligations of any kind. This isn't like, hey, we're trying to get a few dollars for shipping. No, this is a complete free digital copy of the book, audio, video version, PDF version. The printed version is coming soon. But we want to get this into your hands so you can benefit from the tremendous lessons that we've learned as a leadership team around here over the past 20 years of helping. At this point, we've coached 10,000 people on how to build the businesses of their dreams. We'd love to share the lessons we've learned along the way. Okay, that's enough great announcements for the day. Hopefully you benefited from some of that. Let's jump into the great content today with Coach's Corner, hosted by Brian and Rob and Joy Olson. Enjoy.
Welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. We are your co-hosts. I'm Brian.
And I'm Rob and Joy.
And this is Coach's Corner. Wow, good to be back.
It is good to be back. Seems like we were gone forever.
Took a little hiatus there, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Well, we had a fun time.
Little summer vacation, little Proven conference. We'll talk about some of those things today.
A little visit with some other family.
Yeah, visit some family. And
yeah, had a great time.
It was awesome. So now we're back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle. Our calendars are open again, except for all the people that have already booked us up. So yeah.
Anyway, we're glad to be back. I have missed doing this kind of recording.
Yes.
We've done a few coaches highlights or coaches spotlights, I think, in the interim. And those are always great. But really happy to be back here too.
We do love talking to the other coaches and seeing what they're about. That's always lots of fun. So more of that is coming.
Yes. Yeah. Be on the lookout for that. Wow. Okay. So let's just give a little recap on vacation.
Okay.
You good with that?
Can you remember where we were all this time?
I think so. I mean, we've only been back for like a week and it feels like a month already.
Does it? I feel like I'm still recovering.
Are you? Well, so we did go to the Black Hills in South Dakota. And if we saw you at the conference, you already know a little bit about this. But we went with our kids, our son and his wife and their 2 kids. And we went in a camper. Now, we used to camp like old school, right? We would just...
when we were younger.
When we were younger, we would just bring a tent, sleep on the ground. Eventually, we tried cots, and then we obviously upgraded to an air mattress, and then eventually we upgraded to a pop-up camper.
Yes.
Right? And so we were camping in this pop-up camper with the family. And it's plenty big, right? The kids are small enough right now that it wasn't, And I won't say that we were glamping, but we did stay at a KOA in the Black Hills. And as we're driving into the KOA, there is a strip mall on the right and a water slide on the left.
It was a pretty big KOA with a lot of stuff. That was lots of fun.
And then there was the gift shop, right?
Yes, the gift shop.
Restaurants and
pizza place. And
so I was going to say, in the strip mall, there was a pizza place, an ice cream parlor, an espresso bar, a wine bar, they had riding stables there. They had laundromat.
There was a kind of a bar and grill on one side.
Yeah, the restaurants.
Gift shop. Yeah, it was... There were more than one pool. There was
multiple pools and hot tubs.
Bouncy pillow.
A bounce pillow. It was like a preteen teenager's haven in there. Yes. It was like
And there were a lot of them too.
And there were a lot of them. Cornhole and basketball and horseshoes. And
they had the giant live checkers and chess playing.
Giant. Yeah. That was fun. I did watch a game of that. And I was thinking to myself as I was watching this couple play that I totally would not have made that move if I was this guy. And then he like checkmated his opponent in like 3 moves. And so I was like, oh, obviously that's not for me. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. And
I am so glad that we have a business that allows us to do these kinds of things with the grandkids.
You're right. And we actually did spend a little bit of time in a restaurant.
Yes.
Popped open our laptops, did a little bit of work while we were there, right?
That's right. Because we were speaking at the Proven Conference. We had to make sure we were ready for that in just a few days. So it is lovely to know that we can work anywhere.
Yes.
And get things done and not have to work all day, every day. It's lovely.
I got to say, I have only been to the Black Hills in the wintertime, and it's sparse and desolate.
Yes.
But this year, and maybe this year in particular, or maybe just in the summertime, it was gorgeous.
It was. Well, there's been a lot of rain out west here.
Yeah.
And they got some of that, obviously. It was pretty green, really nice.
Yeah. We ended up having to take a slight detour into Rapid City one day. And just the drive to Rapid City and back to the KOA was extremely enjoyable.
Yes, it really was.
And while we were there, we did Custer State Park, which was awesome. Obviously, visited Mount Rushmore while we were there. Crazy Horse. I mean, we checked all the boxes. We did the Spires Highway. We did all the things that we did. Keystone, the town of Keystone, with that very large.
We went to the Purple Pie place in
Custer. Yeah, we saw this nice big herd of bison while we were in Custer State Park. Lots of wildlife. I mean, it was a great time. And we won't repeat the joke that we did at the Proven Conference, but they called them wild burros. But as soon as people got out of their cars, they just came running over, and they were tame as could be. So I don't know if I would consider them wild, but
yeah, that was the boys' favorite part.
Yeah, that was
the donkeys.
That was the kids' favorite part. So but we digress.
We do.
So
they went on to see their other family, our daughter-in-law's family in Michigan, and some of Matt's families in Michigan as well.
Yeah.
And we came back to Denver, got on a plane, and went to Columbus for the Proven Conference.
So we got home, we had time to do a little laundry, catch a good night's sleep, because sleeping in the camper, it's definitely not glamping, right? And
no, that's true.
And get on a plane and head back out to Columbus. And luckily we weren't hit with any flight delays or anything like that. Travel went off without a hitch. Of course, we had been to Columbus one time before with family, because we went to the Columbus Zoo, which is an awesome zoo, by the way.
We saw a lot of you that went to the zoo and enjoyed that while you were there.
And we did, I'll say the hotel that we, when we checked in, was like, wow, this place is pretty nice, right?
It was very nice.
And there was a nice, we didn't get to go there, but a market just up the street that had tons of different kind of restaurants and stuff like that. We just had a blast of a time.
We did. We had such a great time.
The conference overall was...
The best part was the energy that we walked in there. As soon as we started seeing people from our group, I just felt the energy, and it just got bigger and better the whole time. I was just in heaven the whole time, seeing people we had never met before, seeing people we hadn't seen in a long time, just being able to discuss what's going on with people and how their business is going, and getting tips and tricks. It was wonderful.
It was a lot of fun. We got to meet and reconnect with so many folks while we were out there, including, I'm going to do a little name dropping, right?
Okay. All right.
Adam,
what can you remember? Please don't be offended if we don't remember. There are many, many others. We can't name all of them, but let's name a few.
Okay. First night during our sort of speaker 101, like all the folks who were presenting got together.
Yeah, we kind of got together, and Jim kind of had a session with us to make sure we knew what we were supposed to be doing.
Some people walk in, and I'm like, wow, Adam Chanto sat down next to me, and I'm like, I need to pick up my gym game, because he's got it going on, right?
There are few people like that.
Both Abes.
Yeah. Let's see. Doug Hampshire's looking really good. Jessica's always looking great.
Right?
There's some people paying attention.
And I joked on a different episode with Jim that I got to meet Jonathan Bricker. I had met Jimmy in person, Jimmy Smith, before, but taller than I remember.
Yes, everybody was taller than I remember.
Jim was taller than I remember.
Yes.
Doug Hampshire is looking nice and trim.
Mm-hmm.
We were so lucky to spend some time with the Alti family.
Yes.
One of the VIP lunches one day.
They're such a nice family. We enjoyed them so much.
Got to meet the buyers in person. Like we met Joel before, but we hadn't met his wife and daughter, and or at least one of his daughters. And they're actually in the midst of relocating. And we're That's a crazy story. I'll let Joel tell the story sometime. But it was great to meet them and the family. The Novaks, we got to spend some time with. Yes,
they were so encouraging and lovely to us. Yeah, so many people just gave us really great feedback, made us feel like we were making an impression, which is important to us. That's what our goal
delivering
is.
Value. We're delivering value, right?
Is to deliver value. And so those of you who came up to us and told us that we were doing a good job of that,
we appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
That really, really feeds our fire. So
we get to spend some time with the Clausens as well, who are some of our coaching clients, which is awesome. And then in the hallway, maybe on the last day, Bob and Pam from Fishers, Indiana. I wrote it down as one of my WPAs, which we're going to get to here in a moment. And of course, Jim and Andrea Cockram.
So lovely to talk to them. And Trey, we met Trey.
Trey, I
don't think we had formally met him before.
Just great hosts of the conference, and we had a phenomenal time.
Yes,
we also were lucky enough to be able to coordinate a little Olson coaching team meetup while we were there with most of our coaches on Saturday morning.
And we tried to get a hold of all of our coaching clients. I'm not sure we got all of them, but it was, did our best to get everybody together, and there were quite a few. I was surprised at how many were there and how many we had been coaching with, along with the other coaches on our team. Of course, we don't do it all by ourselves.
In fact, most of the clients were our coaches on our team's clients that were there, right?
That's right.
What a blast. We just had a blast. And, I remember the feeling when we got home. Actually, we didn't go straight home.
Right.
We went to visit some family. We got to go to Germantown before we left Columbus.
Yes.
Went to Schmidt's and got some awesome German food.
And the cream puffs. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. My brother lives in Cincinnati, or just outside of Cincinnati in Morrow. And they met us there. We had dinner, and then they took us back to their house to kind of recover for a couple of days, which is really nice. We're always very comfortable at their house, and we can decompress. And that was really nice to do too.
It was great. So, but already looking forward to next year.
Yeah.
We already know we're going to Orlando.
Right. I think we already have a book.
We already have our room booked. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're set.
Yep.
I can't wait.
Looking forward to seeing everybody.
Ready to go again.
So that's a tremendous amount of background.
Yes, it is.
For what we would typically maybe dedicate an entire episode to, which is our WPAs, or worth the price of admission.
Yes.
And we talked about this earlier this year in reference to last year's Proven Conference. And we came away with a very long list.
We did.
This year, which we can't cover all of them today.
Right. So let's just clear up exactly what we do there. Because Brian and I share a note in our iPhones, and sometimes we have to separate because we can't possibly see everyone. We try to see as many as we can. And as we talk to people, as we see people's presentations, we get what we call worth the price of admission, meaning even if we only got that one thing, it would have been worth the whole trip to us. And we had a long list of those. So we were filled and fed and nurtured and taken care of very well.
And we only went to like 4 or 5 sessions between us because of the way the schedule was set up. We didn't have that much time to visit other sessions. So we are still watching some of them.
Yes, we're trying to get caught up on that.
As of today, we've been home for 1 week.
Has it been a week?
About 7 days from now, a week ago, we got back. And so we've been watching, we watched a few over the weekend. Our coaching calendars were full when we got back, which is great. And so we've been primarily, getting back to normal business and then fitting in these additional sessions and rewatching some of the ones that I thought were tremendous while we were there the first time.
Yeah.
So the first WPA.
Yes. Yes. I went to Larry and Sue Pruitt's session. If you were there, you know what he's talking about, or if you watched their session, you'll know what that drum roll just was. That was a lot of fun doing that. But oh man, they did 10. Oh, I'm gonna butcher it, but they did ways that couples can work together and issues that you come. And I apologize, I don't have the name of it, but I got so much out of that. When I got home, I was like, Brian, this is the first one we have to watch because you have to watch this.
Right, because I didn't get to go that
be on the same page here. One of the things that he said that I wrote down that they said was use what you have in your hand. And notes on that, identify your accelerators and your leverage, the way that you can leverage them. So that really spoke to me. All of us have something that is unique to us, or that we have, available to us that maybe others don't have, that we can use, whether others have it or not, that we can use either kind of something that we're good at, something that's near us, a regional store, something that we have in our background that we already know how to do. But whatever that is, probably more than one thing, use that.
Yeah.
Don't let that go to waste. And that was really profound, just that point.
Yeah.
Use what you have.
And I think,
hand.
Just to get creative about it and think about all what happens is you get so used to what you know about yourself that you don't know that it could potentially be an advantage.
Right.
So we work with some people, let's say someone who's a veterinarian who has access to certain types of products and or distribution channels and understands products that we don't understand, that they can leverage that.
Yes.
We know someone who was a wholesale manager for a company, and they already kind of like have an idea of how the wholesale game works. We've got people who have access to regional stores that they know are only available. Like I always use HEB as my example, but if you live in South Texas, you have access to things that most of the country doesn't have access to. Leverage that, right? There are so many different things about your business, about maybe your day job, about the people that that you can leverage today. And it doesn't take much. I mean, find out what you can do, find out what your accelerator is, and that can really push your business forward. It can be the tip of the spear for your business. You don't have to be great at everything to start off with.
Right.
Find something that you can leverage that will help you move forward pretty quickly. And that's a huge benefit.
Yes.
And often overlooked. And so I just love that they brought it up. And for me, absolutely, it's a great reminder. If that was the only thing we got out of that, not only for ourselves, but also for the coaching clients.
Right. Because we share, that's what we do when we coach. We share what's been shared with us. And we're committed to doing that. And so thank you for sharing that with us. And we will continue to share that on.
That's great.
So while I was in that session, you were in another session because we were splitting, we're dividing and conquering where we could.
Yes.
And you got a WPA from that session. What happened?
I got a couple of WPAs from that session. At least I think the first one came from that session. I cannot remember hearing someone say it.
Okay.
But when I was looking back through the notes, it was in the same sort of block of notes from this one session. So I think this came from Jimmy Smith. Okay. It's my first WPA from Jimmy's session, which was Google your inventory turn rate. Because, and this is not the case that he made. He just said to do that. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. We often overlook the turn rate. What is a turn rate?
What I was going to say was, it is interesting to me how we pick up things when we're actually there that were not the point of the speaker, the speaker's point. But we go, those little things that you pick up, those can be just as valuable as the point that the speaker was trying to make. Yeah. So this is that case. So inventory turn rate. Go ahead.
So what this means is how often are you turning over your inventory? And this is usually measured over the course of a year. Okay. So Amazon used to, in the inventory management screen, have an inventory turn rate. And I've spent this week multiple hours, and somebody else in our mastermind went looking around too, and they seem to have removed it. So it's a little bit less easy to determine what that is these days. I haven't looked in Inventory Lab. They may have it. I also haven't looked in Seller Board yet. They may have it. But so what this means is how many times per year are you turning over your inventory or turning over your capital? So when we think about money that we might put in a savings account that's a passive investment and earns 1%, 2%, whatever, 0.5%.
Sometimes 3 or 4%. There's maybe good ones if you have a lot of money.
But if you put money in a CD for 4 years, you might get 4%, right? Your money's locked away for a long time. In the stock market or in your 401k, you might be happy to get 8, 10, 12%, right? In this business,
over the year,
right? In this business, I hear a lot of people scoff at 20 and 30% return on investment, even though that's way better than anything. Even if you only turned your inventory one time per year, right? That's way better than you could get in any of the other investments we just talked about.
Yeah.
But the reality
perspective on that, right?
Yeah. But the reality is you can turn your inventory much faster than that. And I'm not saying this part to brag or anything, but the last time I could find the inventory turn rate in the inventory management page of Seller Central, ours was over 9.
So we were turning our capital 9 times.
So we were able to turn our capital 9 times per year. So do the math on that. Compound 20% on 20% on 20% on 20% 9 times. And then, and I'm not saying we only get 20%. I'm just saying worst case scenario.
Yes.
Even if you were only getting 20%.
We do usually get more than 20%, but 20% is still good, especially when you get to the point where you don't have to touch it. Now, I understand there's some work involved to get to that point, and you do have to put in some time and effort. But even at that, I don't get that kind of return on my money by going to work.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're going to turn your inventory 9 times a year, that's a lot of work that is required to make that happen. And so it doesn't, if you're doing everything yourself, that can be a lot of work for you. Yes. But when you get it outsourced, it's a lot of work for the service that you have employed to do that.
Right.
And now it's much less hands-on. I can't say it's 100% passive, but there's a portion of it that's passive, right?
Yes, much more of it than it used to be, for sure.
So I didn't do the math before we jumped on here because we don't like to do math live, even though we tried to do it at the conference. Again,
we should know better.
But put that in your compounding calculator and see how turning your money 9 or
put that in
10 times a year, might work for you. So that was just a great reminder. Did we kick that horse?
I think we kicked that horse pretty hard. Let's see. What else did you learn that Jimmy Smith said?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, these are the sessions that I know I can recommend because we have been to them.
We have not watched all of them yet. This is just the beginning.
Again, just a taste.
Yeah.
Definitely watch Larry and Sue Pruitt's session. Definitely watch Jimmy's session. The second takeaway that I'm putting in here from the Jimmy Smith, and the reason it hit me so well is that we fell into the same darn trap, which is definitely you want to expand your business. You want to add additional streams of income to your business.
Diversify, not have all your eggs in one basket.
We talk about, the business of doing business is more than just selling your arbitrage items on Amazon, right?
Yes.
There are other streams of income that you can add to that.
Yes.
Jimmy's a great example of how that could work. But if you try to tackle everything at one time, because I think the example that Jimmy used was, well, I went full time in my business, so I thought I had to do everything because I didn't have a job anymore, right? Well, when you try to do everything, you're not good at any of them.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what happened to me before you joined in the business. I wanted to do all of the Amazon things. I wanted to do KDP, and I wanted to do private label, and I wanted to do wholesale, and I wanted to do arbitrage and all the plays, right? But I really didn't have one nailed down yet and get good at it until you came and we got some stuff figured out. But the point of this is expand your business for sure. But just do one thing at a time, get that down, get it nailed down, and then go add something else. Now, there's going to be like a maintenance factor for all of these things, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So,
but you can outsource that and you can put some SOPs in place, and Jimmy supports that too. I know I'm repeating a lot of things that people have said to us. We don't come up with any of this by ourselves. we just repeat what we learned from someone else and hope that it's valuable to the person we're talking to. So, yes.
So expand.
Do one thing at a time. Get that clean. Get that clear. Outsource that so you have some time, some margin in your life again, as Jim talks about, to start the next thing. Add some things to it. Get that settled down, and move on and on like that. And you will grow. Your income streams will grow. And I love the vision of it.
Yeah, it's great. So we got home and we're doing that now.
Yes.
We have identified like a couple of maintenance things we have to take care of in our Amazon, selling business, and then spinning up a couple of only one other thing right now. I almost did it again.
one thing
we
at
got
a time.
2 or 3 things going on. No, we got one other thing we're working on right now.
We do have a plan out to add some other things, but we're not going to get to the next ones until we get this next one pinned down. We're going to talk about that a little bit later.
We are. Before we end this episode, we will.
All right.
Why don't you take this last one?
Okay, so Chris Beam had a really good presentation that we were able to sit in together. One of the things that she had a lot of great stuff. One of the things we put on our WPA list was how to use free money. All this totally makes sense, and we even do a portion of that. But the way she laid it out and explained that there are certain days of the month that you can use your credit cards and use that money for free as long as you pay it off at the time that you would have paid it anyway for things that you would have bought. But they have benefits. They have points and they have cash back and all of that. And that's like free money. Like you only get it because you use the credit card. And that's great stuff. That, in addition to cash back sites and things like that, can really add to your business without doing anything different than what you would normally do. Just putting it into a schedule.
In a system.
Yeah. Yes. And we're all about the system. We like things in a system because we know what to expect. We know where to go next. We know whether we're on track or not.
So just to drive that point home a little bit more, she showed the example of 5 credit cards. If you rotate your spend on those 5 credit cards throughout the month, and this allows you to spend on them for a certain amount of time, and then you stop, go spend on the next one for a certain amount of time, then you stop. And then this gets on a schedule. And then what happens is your payouts from Amazon, I think she said 42 days, 46 days, something like that.
I don't remember exactly. I'll have to go back and look at it again.
Rotate. So from the day you spend it to the day you actually got to pay it could be like 42 or 46 days. Well, may not be enough time to get all your money back from Amazon. But once that you have that flow going, then it does. Absolutely. You're balancing between all that. And that becomes a stream of income.
Yeah. There's actually income with cash back. Right.
So we were talking about this the other night, not to get too far into the weeds on this off script.
Here we go.
We were talking about how Amazon lending, works.
Yes.
And not just for sellers, but for consumers as well. Right. They want to have the credit card where you can go shopping.
Yes.
Because if you have the credit card with Amazon, or you have the credit card with Walmart, or you have the credit card with Target, that they know that they can count on you spending some money there and then typically paying interest on the money that you've spent. Right. Yes.
But if I don't pay interest, I still get the cash back.
Exactly. You still get the benefit of that system.
Yes.
So, but from the company standpoint, from the Amazon standpoint, Target, Walmart, whatever, they've created this little income stream or this cash flow stream within their existing business. So this is part of what the business of doing business is, right? Exactly. Well, why don't we learn from the big boys, big guys, big box stores, and do the same thing for ourselves? And we can do that not by necessarily lending money out, but by using these cards that generate points, miles,
to ourselves,
cash back to lend money to ourselves and take advantage of that.
Yep.
What just a mind-blowing moment.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
That was great. And again, I'm working on, figuring that schedule out for us. I'll have to go back and thank goodness for the recordings because there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way that we could see it all for one thing. And then there's no way I could remember everything. So thank goodness for that. If you are not part of that, make sure you are next year because there's so much good stuff. There's so much good stuff.
And everyone that we talked to was the same, like, I can't wait to come back next year.
Yes.
Right? Just an amazing feeling and experience.
Absolutely.
So, okay. Well, one of the things that we talked about while we were there is that if you haven't heard, we're conducting a workshop in Salt Lake City, September 15th and 16th of this year. So we are, August, 2 months out at this point from that.
Yes.
Right?
September 15th and 16th of 2023.
Okay. What's the purpose of this workshop, Robin?
So the purpose of this workshop is to help people who are stuck. They can't find a system. They can't find the way to go step by step by step. Everything seems a little vague. So what we did is we kind of put it in a methodical step-by-step system. And we're going to spend 2 days practicing, showing you the system of deciding whether ASINs are test worthy or not, helping you make that decision with 3 points, 3 steps. We talked about this at the Proven Conference. We're going to go into that in detail. We're going to dig into that. We're going to practice that and find out what the issues are with that, answer all the questions we can about that. And we're also going to go into the next part, which is, how does the test go? How do I actually do the process of the testing to get in and out within 30 to 45 days, not have to wait for my money, have pretty good evidence that I'm going to get all my money back, even if the test fails, and all of the benefits that you get for testing, even if you just broke even. Even if you just broke even.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So we're really excited about this.
And so let me just say, whether you're stuck or not, whether you just want to say add replens, maybe you already have a business that's private label or something like that. If you want to add replens, we talk about the BC and AC, right? Before click and after click. And sometimes that can take 6 months. Sometimes it can take 6 weeks. Sometimes it can take 6 days, whatever. We're going to put it into 2 days. And when you leave out of there, you're definitely going to be after click.
Yeah, I think that you will be able to clearly see what you're looking for by the time you leave there. You're going to have clear, easy to find data points. You don't have to know everything about Keepa. We'll tell you the 3 places to look. It'll be a yes or no. You got 3 yes or no questions that you can ask and answer. And if they're all yeses, then test it. It's just a test, right? We're going to go all the way through that.
Yes. There's more information we're going to share too, that is like things that we would normally stack, this knowledge stacking that we would do with our coaching clients over the span of 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. When we only have an hour at a time for coaching clients, this takes us, we share all of this where there are no secrets. It just takes several weeks, an hour at a time to get all this information out that we're going to cram into 2 days and have just almost like a boot camp kind of feel to it. So you can get it all at once and get that part out of the way.
Right. Just be done with that part. Now you will know how to source products for your business for the rest of your Amazon replens career, which you are going to have to do. You're going to have to find new ASINs.
Someone going to have to do it for you.
You or someone. But you should be the expert in your business at first who knows how to do that, so that when you initially outsource it, you know how to quality check that.
Yes.
You can provide correction, direction, etc. Anyway, 2 days intensive. Okay, we're cramming a lot in 2 days.
Roll up your sleeves, get to work.
There's not just this is not like sit back and listen to a lecture.
No,
there are little snippets of where we're sharing information, and then we break up into groups.
Yes.
Group activities where actual work is being done. Then we come back together and we share the experience and we build on that. And here's the best part of this one. Okay. We are thrilled to be able to say that Larry and Sue Pruitt will be in attendance.
Yes.
Jim Cochran will be in attendance.
Yes. We are so excited about that. And they're going to be there to help you along your way. We're going to have small groups so people can ask questions about their particular situation. So this is going to be really good. When you leave there, you're going to have a plan that's laid out for you for the next 6 months. Within 6 months, if you use this system, you should be able to get to about 100 ASINs. That's going to be at least $10,000 to $15,000 a month in sales. As long as you're consistent, you can get there in about 6 months. You'll know if you get off track. You'll have a workbook to tell you whether where you got off track and how much you need to do to get back on track. It's not vague. It's not ambiguous. Yeah, it's not ambiguous. It is very clear instructions. Now, in the beginning, or when you're first building a replens list, or when you're trying to start over. A lot of people want to do this because they're trying to start over and get their replens list started again. That can seem very vague for what we know that's out there right now. We're trying to bring that down into a few instructions that are yes or no questions that you can answer clearly.
And this is very much a train the trainer type of event. So we met a couple on the last day, and they were both considering coming to the workshop. And I didn't come up with this because I have this thing called delayed intelligence. I didn't come up with it at
we
the
all
time.
do.
But in the train the trainer scenario, not necessary for both business partners to be there. Great if you want to.
Yes.
But the idea here is that you are going to have this down pat, and then you can go home or go back to your business and train your business partner, your outsourced person, whoever it is that you were working on this exact system, so that you've got it. Because I know you're going to have it nailed down. You're going to be dreaming 3-step check.
Yes.
You're going to be dreaming testing process. You're going to have all this stuff. So yeah, this is we're really excited about it. Go to provenamazoncourse.com/100 and you can find out more details there. We are really excited about this. Salt Lake City, by the way, is gorgeous. Like we got to go there earlier this year. It was my first time there. I hadn't even flown through Salt Lake before. And just to be surrounded by all those beautiful mountain ranges is like incredible.
Yes, it's a very nice, clean city. It's a beautiful city. Yeah. So it's a great place to visit and that's where the Jim Cockrum coaching office is as well, which is one of the reasons we chose that city to do this one. That's where they work, and you can meet the people who work there as well. So that'll be interesting to a lot of you. So a lot of people I've talked to, they want to do this, even though they're in coaching and we can teach them this. It takes several weeks to get to this point that we can get to in 2 days. So what we can do then is use their coaching sessions. If they get that part out of the way, which usually takes several of their coaching sessions, we can use their coaching sessions then to help them with building on to that business, adding things to that business, making that business more profitable, making that business a better business for them. So it's good for coaching students as well to get you a good start, or to take some time out of your coaching, go get this down and come back and continue along your path.
We have had coaching clients before who are 6, 7, 8 sessions in and haven't sent anything in yet.
We have.
And some of our own coaching clients as well. And it's like, dang, the best way to actually get clarity in this business is to get in the game. Yeah. And providing this system that gives you the confidence to take action gets you in the game. Once you're in the game, you get clarity. And that's what we're after here, is that clarity. So
yes.
Again, Proven Amazon Course /100. Now, Robin.
ProvenAmazonCourse.com /100. You'll fill out a questionnaire and someone will call you and talk to you about the conference.
Yes. So what happens, Robin, when you go find an ASIN? I was just reading the post today. Oh, I found this great ASIN, and then someone showed up with 400 units, and it's been a price war ever since, and I can't even get my money back. How do you solve that problem?
More ASINs.
More ASINs.
More ASINs.
All right, go get some more ASINs.
Let's go get more ASINs.
Great to see you, everyone. Talk soon.
Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
So thanks for hanging out with us today. Before I let you go from this episode, however, I've got my good friend, Mr. Jeff Schick, who likes to join us about once a week or so around here with great Amazon policy and legal tips to keep sellers out of trouble and plowing forward. What do you have for us today, Jeff?
All right. Well, thanks for having me on, first off. But what I have today is talking about bundles when you don't have a trademark. So this is kind of a new hot button issue that people have been coming and asking me questions about. So I figured we might as well share some of my insights with the community. I know they align very well with with everything that's taught in PAX. Works in everyone's favor. But one of the common misconceptions people have is they say, "Oh, I can't sell this bundle because I don't have a trademark yet." And the reality is yes, you can. Now, there's ways to do it correctly and there's ways to do it incorrectly. So the incorrect way, I'll state right now, the way you do not do it is by saying it's generic. Because if I'm selling, Frito-Lay's chips and a, popcorn bowl that with my brand on it, that's not generic because there's 2 branded items within that bundle. So it's definitely not a generic product. If I was selling, like Harbor Freight screws and washer nuts, like that might be generic because they have no brand on them. But that is an obvious exception compared to the Frito-Lay's and the Jeff's snack bowl. Now, people will say, what if I don't have a trademark yet? And the answer to that is you can actually create a brand on Amazon, listing with a brand, with your own brand, even if you don't have a trademark. You just don't get access to all of the enhanced brand tools like A+ content and brand analytics and so forth. And so while I'm not going to talk about the specifics of how you create that, because that's, Amazon changes its its policies and practices like every day. So it's better to go to Seller University to find that out. The reality is I could call it Jeff's Snack Bundle, assuming that there's no trademark infringement issues to think about. So you still want to do your due diligence. You don't want to call it the Frito-Lay's bundle, for instance, or use any sort of trademarked term in your listing, but you can create your brand name, start selling under it, see if it works. And then the beauty, if you actually do trademark in the future, you actually can show that your mark is already in use because you've been using it to sell products on Amazon. So now you're able to say your filing date, your priority date is equal to the date you started selling, which is a positive in the trademark context. And you're able to, and once you do apply for that trademark, you can enroll in brand registry and bring that brand into your brand registry portfolio and get all of the brand analytics tools. So you've already done that first, you've already sort of done half the step. So
you can sell bundles under your own brand that is trademarked, and you can sell it under ones that isn't, if it's not trademarked yet, right? That's what I'm hearing. And
exactly.
This is why we call this one of those slightly more advanced strategies. I don't like to see brand new sellers jumping into this territory. Get your feet wet a little bit. You wade in slow. Get Jeff on retainer for a few dollars a day. You want, like you mentioned, you want to do a little bit of research for if you're going to create a brand. Don't assume that brand isn't already out there. Trademark.
Correct.
You got to do a little research. There's a little work.
Yeah. And I talk to sellers, probably talk to at least 1 to 2 sellers a week who reach out to me and say, hey, I'm thinking about using this as my brand name for a branded bundle. Is it okay? And we do that on the call, as long as they book at least 20 minutes. Yeah. 10-minute call is a little bit harder because there's not enough time. But if you do 20 or 30 minutes, we absolutely can go and look and see, hey, here's these different possible names. What is it available? What's available? What's not available? Do I think you'll have issues when you apply for a trademark with this particular name? And we go through that whole analysis. And if a seller feels good about it, they can create the brand and start selling it and see how it goes on Amazon. And that at least saves them the money from having to apply for a trademark up front until they know that it's something that they truly want to be doing with the branded bundle strategy.
It has some momentum. Absolutely. That's a great strategy. And we've got some brand new bundle training coming. So this is a well-timed tip today, because in the very near future, we're launching some brand new bundle strategies for the community, for proven Amazon course students and all the listeners to the show. Well, I want to spend just the last couple moments that we have talking about your new account health services that you guys have launched. We've talked about it only once before on this program, but super excited to see you guys get into that arena. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we hired 3 team members from Amazon Seller Performance. We've got one of the seller performance managers who had 30 people underneath them. We've got a seller performance investigator who actually used to do the investigations on seller accounts that were flagged by Amazon for potential violations. And then we've also got a seller performance member who handled A to Z claims, order defect rate, and those types, feedback issues for sellers. And so we're trying to create, this comprehensive group of people that can help us with managing sellers' account health so that they don't run into issues down the line. And so we're calling it Account Health Pro. It's a nominal upgrade fee. Our normal retainer is $89 a month for members of PAC. It's actually $179 a month for our Account Health Pro, and that includes all the benefits of the regular retainer as well, and also quite a bit more. So it includes, the unlimited consultations with myself and my team. You can have us, it also includes us going into your account 3 times a week, taking a look at anything that's going on, taking care of any issues as they pop up, or if they need to be taken care of. If there's other stuff that needs to be done, we actually put priority on them because you're in our, in the upgraded program, and we'll actually handle, collect, put that case together, collect all the information that we need from you, and then handle it with priority. And so it's just, an added benefit for sellers that trust us with their business to help manage it for them. So
you've got some true pros keeping an eye out, helping you prevent being suspended by seeing account health issues before Amazon gives you a challenge there. And just doing the math real quick, about $6 a day gets you on retainer and gets account health services rocking. People can reach out to you and contact your team at jeffschick.com for more information on any of this, right? But
you got it. So it is. If anyone wants to upgrade, just send us an email. We'll jump on the phone with you, explain it, and then we'll get you enrolled in the program right away. You do have to be a member of the regular retainer first. It's just you sign up for the retainer and then you just upgrade. So it's easy. And so we're happy to help. It's we're trying to create new solutions that take people's mind off of the business side of Amazon so they can focus on growing their business and not fixing their business.
Well, you're doing a tremendous job of it. You were a guest at our recent conference. And when asked, I asked the audience at one point, hey, how many of you guys are using and loving Jeff's services? And about 35% or so of the room raised their hand. So you guys really have a big fan base among the listeners of our program, and you're serving them with excellence. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We do try. So we're always continuously trying to improve. And, one thing people will notice and they get annoyed with is that every time they talk to a member of our team, they get a client survey asking them about their experience, but we actually do read every single one of them. So they're like positive, negative, neutral. We read every single reply that people send to us. And we use that to help, improve the client experience and keep coming up with new services. So.
Well, it's great to see you guys growing. I love your price point. You've got a beautiful business model and you're serving our community with excellence. So thanks, Jeff. We'll do this again next week. What do you say?
Sounds great. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you then.
Thank you.